We hear the word grace so many times used today. But grace is really not real unless it makes us flinch, as is demonstrated in this story, which I read on a blog recently. True story. Young 7-year-old Kathleen was dying of Huntington's disease, the same disease that took her mother, Laura, at the age of 24. Unfortunately for Kathleen, this young 7-year-old girl, while she was dying, a long-standing feud between the neighbors and her mother continued. It was played out against Kathleen. This feud started when Kathleen's mother failed to answer a text message in a timely way. Text message about a birthday party for children. Well, that happens. We get annoyed by people who don't answer our text messages, maybe, yeah. But these neighbors took it to a new level, a very tragic thing. And while Kathleen was suffering, the lady next door with the feud issue, she took a picture of Kathleen and posted it on her Facebook page, and she doctored that picture and added the skull and bones around the face of dying Kathleen. It's unbelievable that she would do that. She also got a coffin and hitched it to the back of a pickup truck and parked it in front of young Kathleen's house. Later on, she claimed, it was just a Halloween demonstration. This was just so destructive to that family, just hurting them so terribly, that eventually people, when they heard about it, and it got even onto the news, there was an outpouring of hatred and, yes, phone calls of even death threats against this woman who did these despicable things to young Kathleen. Fortunately, a store read about it, and the owner was a toy store, gave Kathleen an open check where she could go and pick any toy, all the toys she wanted. He knew she wouldn't last for long. And so he wanted her to have some joy to make up for this pain that was caused in her life. That was an outpouring of grace from a lot of people. Facebook plan was in motion, and thousands of people gathered as a result in honor of Kathleen. And we say, that's a wonderful way to try to buoy up her spirits when someone else tried to destroy her in such an awful way. Well, then the news got hold of what was happening to this woman who caused all this, and she eventually was arrested for hurting other kids, neighbors' kids, and newspaper and people were just rejoicing that this happened to her, and she was put in jail, and her children were taken away from her, and everyone said, that's what she deserves, serves her right. Well, thinking about that, we all rejoice about the fact that little Kathleen was given all this grace, that she was shown this kindness at a time in her life when she really needed it. But here's what grace really does. What about that woman who did such awful things? Grace makes us flinch because grace says, isn't there a way we can treat that woman better than she deserves? Isn't there a way for forgiveness, maybe some understanding, for mercy, for just letting it go, for treating her better than what everyone else does? See, that's where grace takes over. Because what we have done to God deserves eternal destruction. And yet God, in this grace that makes us flinch, He actually took our punishment upon Himself and has given us mercy, kindness, eternal life. Think about that grace today. All God's asking for us to do is to respond to it, to accept His grace, and then to share this grace, even though it makes us flinch. If you'd like to learn more about the ministries at the Fletcher Seventh-day Adventist Church, you can go to our website at fletchersda.org, and you will find out about how we try to lift Jesus up and love people in. Thank you for watching.